Alright, so dilation is a transformation to make a shape bigger or smaller proportionally. A transformation to make a shape bigger or smaller proportionally. So I spell proportionally with 2 L's. Proportionally. 1 L.
1 L.
I think it's 2 L's.
What do you guys think? That looks right with 2 L's?
The problem with grammar is it doesn't matter if it looks right to you, you still might be wrong. I don't know. We're going to go with 2 L's. Alright, a dilation is a transformation to make a shape bigger or smaller proportionally. So when you think about like dilated, you might hear that with pupils. So like that black part of your eye might be dilated, means that it's opened more, it's letting more light in, or if it's smaller, that's not dilated. What do you call it when your pupil gets smaller? Does it say anything? Don't know either. But when you go to like the eye doctor and they have to look into your eyes, they dilate your pupils so they can look into your eyeball more. It makes that hole bigger so that they can see better into your eyes. Or if you hear that anywhere else where your pupils are dilated, and we're talking about that making bigger. It is 2 L's? We crushed it. We're amazing. Okay, one thing that we need to know before we start our examples is the scale factor.
So that word proportion and scale factor, these are things we covered before, but it was tried too. So if you weren't with us, you might have heard some different words used to describe it or explain it. Can anyone remember what proportional means or that idea of a scale factor?
Focus. You know how to do it.
Something is proportional. What does that mean? Say that again.
Kind of.
Kind of in an order. How do they relate to each other if 2 things are proportional? If I say 2 shapes are proportional, does that mean they're congruent? Are they the exact same?
No, they're not.
They're not the exact same. They're not congruent. But they might be like similar.
Okay, and what that means is like we're going to make it the whole thing smaller rather than just like making it shorter. We're just going to make it shorter and skinnier, or make it bigger and wider versus just making it shorter. We want it to look kind of the same. So a scale factor is what we multiply to go from the pre-image to the image. So remember that pre-image is that one that's labeled just like A, B, C, D. And our scale factor is going to tell us how to get to the image, how to do that transformation. Miss Sorter already nicely handed these out, so you can go ahead and glue that in. If you need to trim it real quick, you can. Mine fits in pretty perfect, so I left a little space there because I knew it was going to be tight. But go ahead and get that glued in. If you need to cut the bottom one off, you should be able to fit it in on the same page still. Just maybe put it off to the side. So go ahead and get that glued in. go ahead and get that glued in. And I'm going to just grab one colored pencil to use while I do this. I'm going to use probably light blue today. If you'd like to use light blue, you can. If you just want to use a different color, that's fine. But as we work, I'm going to use that. I'm also going to be using a straight edge, so that would be our ruler, to help me draw those nice straight lines. Especially because today we are going to be drawing larger lines than normal. So get that glued in, and then get out your supplies. When you put the glue cap back on, please lower the glue so it gets put back into the cylinder before you put the cap back on. Getting glue off the whiteboards has been challenging because hi. You got it, Miss Sutter. Thanks. We're going to get started in about 20 more seconds. Give you a little bit more time to get that in. Alright, so as we look at our dilations, that means we're going to be multiplying to get to our scale factors. So we are going to take our ordered pairs and we're going to multiply with our scale factor. This about the origin just tells us that we don't need to worry about it moving in a different direction. If I was going to be multiplying it in a different direction where it's not about the origin, it's actually going to be a dilation with a little bit of a translation. Okay, but because we're doing it about the origin, it's going to be proportional because it's coming from the middle of the graph. Okay, so first thing we need to do is actually list our ordered pairs. So here we have B, C, D, and E. And we need to find those ordered pairs of the X, Y. So our origin is in the middle here. To get to B, we're going to go left 1, and then not up or down at all. So it just would be -1, 0. What's our ordered pair for C? Good, -1, 2. What about for D? Not 3 though, I think it's only 2, right? Right, 2 up 2, 2, 2. And then E? 1, -2. So in order to find our new xy's, our new B prime, C prime, D prime, E prime, we're going to take all of these coordinates and we're going to multiply everything by our scale factor. And what is our scale factor? What did it tell us in the directions of that one? 2.5. So I'm going to take my Desmos calculator because those negatives work out a little bit better in Desmos. If you're using your regular phone calculator, be really careful that you know how negatives work. Don't just use the minus sign on your regular calculator. Doesn't always work. Okay, so I'm going to do -1 times 2.5 is -2.5. It's 2.5. 0. Okay, we just did -1 times 2.5. That was -2.5. then we're doing 2 times 2.5. And we get 5. So we're multiplying each of these x's and y's by 2.5. 2 and 5 tenths, 2.5. So 2 times 2.5 we just did in our calculator is 5. 2 times 2.5 is 5. 1 times 2.5 is just positive 2.5. And negative 2 times 2.5 is negative 5. Now what's nice is when we do this about the origin is that our ordered pairs should actually stay in the same quadrant, because it's going to look like it's just getting enlarged over that space. So nothing really should move out of the space that it's in. So D should still be up here, C should be over here, B should still be on that x-axis, E should be down here still. So when you plot these points, we have negative 2.5, 0. So from the origin, I'm going to go left 2 and an extra half. So halfway to the next point. So it is going to be in the middle of 2 lines, and that's okay. And that will be our B prime. Okay, C prime, we have negative 2.55, so we're going to go left 2 and a half. But then we're going to go up 5. So up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. D prime, we have 5, 5, so that's positive 5, so right 5. And then positive 5 would be up 5. And then E prime, we have 2.5, negative 5. So from the origin, we're going to go left 2 and a half, so 0.5 more. So we're going to be in between that 2 and 3. And then negative 5 is down 5. So when you do dilations, it's going to be about finding those ordered pairs and then using multiplication to find your new ordered pairs. And then plotting them down. Some people can find those ordered pairs and just multiply it and plot that point one at a time without having to write it down. If that's you, that's great. Some people like to write it down. If that's you, that's also great. And then you go ahead and connect those using your straight edge. And it should look like exactly the same image, it just got bigger. All right, we have one more that we're going to perform the dilation. This time we're doing a dilation of 0.25. So is a dilation of 0.25, is that going to get bigger or smaller?
Smaller.
Smaller. How did you know it was going to get smaller? You don't know? Just guessed?
0?
Yeah, it's less than 1. It starts with that 0 point. So because it's less than 1, I'm making it less than the full size. So this one's going to get smaller. So as we draw this one, it should get smaller. It should go on the inside of that one. All right, so first step we're going to do here is identify our ordered pairs. So we have T, U, V, W. And I'm going to just write the ordered pairs as they are first. So T, from that origin, to get to T, what's my ordered pair for that one? 0, and then negative 2, because it goes down 2. For u, it's going to go left 2, so negative 2, positive 1. V would go right 1, up 2, so 1, 2. And W, 3, 0. So now for each of these, we're going to multiply all of those numbers by 0.25. We're going to get some decimals, so as we graph, since we're graphing by hand, we might not get the exact point, but we're going to do our best to estimate about where that point is going to be. So we're going to find our t prime, our u prime, v prime, and w prime. So 0 times 0.25, what's 0 times anything? 0. We don't even need to put that one in our calculator. Okay, negative 2 times 0.25. Negative 2 times 0.25 is negative 0.5, so negative half. Okay, u prime. Again, this one starts with negative 2, and I just had that one in my calculator. Negative 2 times 0.25, we get negative 0.5. And then 1 times 0.25. 1 times anything is what we started with, so it should be 0.25. V prime, again, it starts with that 1, so that's really nice because we just did that one. And 1 times 0.25 is 0.25. I almost did that too, so I'm just going to go back up to my decimals since I already have it listed. I'm just going to delete that negative, so that's a positive 2, and we get positive 0.5. And then we have w prime, which this one we will have to put in 3 times 0.25, 0.75. And then we said earlier 0 times anything is 0. So we don't need to put that in our calculator. If you did, that'd be okay. You just would get 0 as your answer. Once we find those new points, we're just ready to graph. And remember, this is going to get smaller, and this is only going to be about a quarter of the size smaller. Or it's going to be a quarter of the size it started off with. So it's going to be pretty small. So as we do this, try and write your points kind of small, careful. So we have 0, negative 0.5. So if I start at 0, negative 0.5 tells me to go down, but only go down a half. So not even all the way to that first line. And that's my t prime. Next up for my u prime, I have negative 0.5, 0.25. So negative 0.5 tells me to go left because it's negative. I'm going to go left a half. And then is 0.25 more than half or less than half? 0.25? Should be less than half. It's only about a quarter of the way up. So not even halfway up to the next one. Just right above that line is going to be our u prime. .25, so we're not going to go not even halfway, and then up halfway. So we're going to go right a quarter, so right just a little bit, up about a half. And there's our v prime. Now W prime is 0.75. So where is 0.75? Is that more than half or less than half? More than half. So we're going to almost go a full way, but not quite. A little bit more than half, and then no up or down. So just right on that X. And there's our W prime. This one you might not even need to use a straight edge because they're so close together. And there's our teeny tiny dilation. People a second to get caught up, or just continue to sleep, I suppose. Alright, we have one last one. This one we're going to find the scale factor. So we need to know which one is the original and which one's the pre-image and which one's the image. So I'm going to just use, again, I'm going to use two colored pencils. If you want to use a highlighter, you can. I'm going to put this middle one, the smaller one in yellow. And I'm going to do this blue, bigger one in that light blue. That helps you to color code it so you can see which one we're talking about. You should do that. Alright, now what we want to do here is we want to pick 2 points that are easy to identify the points. And we want one that's the pre-image and one that's the image. So as I look, is this X right on a point? Yep. What about X prime? Is that right on a point? No, so that might be hard for us. We might be hard to tell if it's like exactly halfway. Maybe it's 0.25. We don't know. So let's not use X if we don't have to. Let's go to Y. Would Y be easy to use?
No.
Well, the point Y would be easy. Well, it wouldn't be easy. Y prime. So we don't want to use Y or Y prime because those are in the middle of the points. Okay, what about Z? We could use Z. Z is on that nice point. Is Z prime on a nice point? Yep. So we could do Z, or we could use W. Which one do you guys want? Aaron says W. Anyone else have an opinion? W, I guess?
W.
All right.
Say, let's do both and check our work.
Oh,
A little extra for today.
that's really extra. We're going to write down what is our W, and then we're going to think about that as a transformation to our W prime. So what does W start at? From that origin, how do we get to W?
Which direction do we move from the origin to get to W?
More right, to,
Oh,
W.
we're doing W, not Z.
W, left,
Left.
Left,
So
how
what
many?
does left tell us? Left 2 means what?
left,
Is left positive or negative?
negative,
Negative 2.
2. And then do we move up or down at all from that axis?
no,
No,
it's
so what?
the same,
So what number do we use?
0.
Yep.
All right, then we have that W prime. So from the origin, what's my point for W prime?
0.25.
We're not doing it for this one. This one we have to find the scale factor. So this one, it's giving us the points, and we have to figure out what are we multiplying by. So we already know W, and then we know W prime because it gave it to us here on the graph. So we're going to write down those points, negative 2, 0. W prime is negative 3, 0. And we need to figure out what are we multiplying by to get that answer. So negative 2 times what is negative 3? Anyone know? Yeah, it has to make it bigger, so it has to be something bigger than 1. So if we're thinking scale factor has to be a multiplication, what's another way we could do this? What's the opposite of multiplication? We could divide, so we could go backwards and do division to find our answer. Okay, so if we're not sure exactly, it's okay to use division, but for division we're going to go backwards. So I'm actually going to start at my W prime, -3, divided by -2. And we get 1.5. So that tells me what I should multiply by. I should be multiplying by 1.5.
Okay, Jameer got that without dividing. He did it a little differently. I'm going to try to explain it, but his brain was really amazing, so he might have to help me. He knew that because we were going from 3 to 2, that 2 told him we were probably going to be using something like a half, right? So he took 3 divided by 2 and got 1/2. And knew that if we multiply 3 by 1/2, that'll give us that -2. Right? Did I explain that right? Sort of?
Sort of. I knew where you go. I got that. Okay, so yeah. So what is our scale factor? What are we multiplying the original image or the pre-image by to get the image? 1.5. Okay, and if you're not sure, it's always okay to use that division. So it's okay to do -3 divided by -2. And when we get that answer, that will tell us what we're actually multiplying by. So we're doing the inverse.